Before I came here to Thrush Cross Grange, Nellie began, I was always at Wuthering Heights, running errands, haymaking and looking after the children, Henley and Catherine Earnshaw. One morning their father said, "Now, children, I'm going to Liverpool today. What presents would you like me to bring back?" "A violin," begged Henley. "A whip for my horse," Cathy ordered. Mr. Earnshaw promised, but when he returned, a fiddle and whip in his great coat pocket were crushed by the child in his lap, a dirty, ragged, black-haired brat. Even though Henley was a boy of 14, he cried to see his fiddle crushed. The child looked the same age as Cathy, but it stared without saying a word. As Mr. Earnshaw explained, he had found it starving and homeless on the streets. "Wash it, Nellie," he said. "Find it clean clothes and let it play with the children." They called the child Heathcliff as both first name and surname. Cathy made friends quickly, but Henley hated him because Mr. Earnshaw preferred and made a fuss of Heathcliff. Once Mr. Earnshaw bought each boy a horse. Heathcliff took the handsomest, and when it fell lame, he made Henley give up his. "If you don't," he threatened, "I'll tell your father you hit me. He'll whip you." "Take the wretched horse," Henley spluttered. "I'll pray it breaks your neck." Heathcliff seemed unmoved. He never showed emotion. He was sullen and proud. But I still didn't realize how vindictive he could be, as you will see. Cathy was a mischievous child, high-spirited, her tongue always singing and laughing. She could be naughty, bold, and saucy, but she had the sweetest smile and meant no real harm. Oh, Mr. Earnshaw died. Henley went away and came back with a young wife, Frances. He made Heathcliff stop his lessons, work in the fields, and eat alone in the back kitchen. Heathcliff didn't mind because Cathy taught him what she learned, and when they could escape, they ran off together to spend the days on the moors. They used to laugh at their punishments. However much Henley thrashed Heathcliff, it was forgotten the minute they were together again. They grew more their devil every day. One day Heathcliff returned alone. Where's Cathy? I demanded. Captured Nellie by Thrushcross Grange. We went to spy on those silly little children, Edgar and Isabella Linton. They howled like banshees and made them cry. We dropped off the window ledge when we heard their parents come. The fools set their dogs at us, and one caught Cathy's leg. Then they recognized Cathy, sent me the wicked boy packing, and they are keeping her until her leg heals. I watched through the window. They dried and combed her beautiful long hair. They washed her feet, gave her slippers, fed her cake, and wheeled her to the fire. And there she stays, happy as anything. Weeks later, Cathy returned, accompanied by Edgar and Isabella. She'd become a young lady, very dignified, with hands white from being indoors and doing nothing. Heathcliff, she said at once. Heathcliff was filthy from working in the fields. Cathy drew her dress back from him, exclaiming, "You look so odd, so dirty." "I shall be as dirty as I please," he stormed, running off. I followed him. "Wash yourself, show her how fine you are." "I'm not fair with blue eyes like Edgar." "No, I was brushing his hair." "You are dark and handsome if you don't look sulky." Henley and Edgar jeered when he came downstairs. "He's ridiculous, trying to be a gentleman. His hair's like a colt's mane." Heathcliff seized a dish of applesauce and threw it in Edgar's face. Edgar's bawled, and Isabella wept, calling for home. "Stop!" Cathy snapped at them as Hindley dragged Heathcliff away. "You are not hurt, either of you." She knew what would follow. She winced at the sound of Hindley's whip lashing Heathcliff. I found Heathcliff later, up in the attics, lost in thought. Cathy was with him, holding his hands. "I'll pay Hindley back somehow," he said. "No," I interrupted. "God may punish, but we must forgive." Heathcliff smiled. God won't have the pleasure that I will. I don't care how long I wait for my revenge.